Have you ever stood up in the evening and felt like your legs suddenly aged 10 years in one day? Not sharp pain, not an injury, just that heavy, tight, stiff feeling that makes every step slower and less comfortable than it should be. Many adults over 60 believe this is simply part of aging, but that is not always true. In many cases, the real problem is that the muscles in the legs, especially the calves, stay inactive for too long during the day. Over time, they become tighter and less flexible, almost like a rubber band left out in the cold. And when those muscles tighten, movement can feel harder by evening. Have you noticed your legs feel heavier after sitting for a long time? Or that getting up from the couch suddenly feels more difficult than it used to? Researchers from Harvard Medical School explain that gentle stretching may help improve flexibility and reduce stiffness in older adults when done consistently. One review published in the Journal of Aging Research found that regular stretching improved lower body mobility and comfort in seniors within several weeks. A 71-year-old man from Arizona named Daniel once told me evenings had become the most frustrating part of his day because his legs always felt tight after dinner. Then he started one simple stretch before bed. And tonight, I want to show you that same movement because sometimes a few gentle minutes can help the legs feel lighter, looser, and easier to move again. Before we begin, comment your age and where you're watching from. Now let's talk about why this tight feeling happens in the first place. So what causes that tight, stiff feeling in the legs? For many adults over 60, one common reason is muscle stiffness from sitting too long and moving too little. When we spend hours watching TV, sitting in the car, or resting in a chair, the muscles in the legs, especially the calves, slowly tighten. And tight muscles can make the legs feel heavier and less comfortable by evening. The calves are sometimes called the body's second heart because they help move blood back upward when we walk. But when those muscles stay inactive for long periods, circulation and flexibility may feel reduced. Have you ever noticed your legs feel stiff after sitting too long? Or that first step after standing feels harder than it should? Researchers from Mayo Clinic explain that aging and prolonged sitting can reduce muscle flexibility over time. A study in the Journal of Physical Therapy Science also found that regular calf stretching improved lower leg mobility in older adults. And that brings us to one simple stretch that may help your legs feel looser in just a few minutes. Now let's move into the stretch itself. And the reason I like this movement so much is simple. It targets one of the most common causes of tight legs after 60, stiff calf muscles from too much sitting and not enough movement. The good news? You do not need special equipment. You do not need to get on the floor. And you do not need to push your body hard to feel a difference. You only need a wall or a chair. So let me show you the standing version first. Stand facing a wall. Place both hands gently against it for support. Now step one foot back. Keep the back leg straight. Keep the heel touching the floor. Then slowly lean your body forward. Not fast, not aggressively. Just enough to feel a gentle pulling sensation in the back of your lower leg. That is the area we want to loosen. Can you feel that stretch behind the calf? For many people, this is exactly where the tightness hides all day long. Hold that position for about 20 to 30 seconds. Breathe normally, do not bounce. Then slowly switch sides. And if standing feels difficult, there is an easier version. Sit comfortably in a chair. Extend one leg forward. Keep your heel on the floor and your toes pointed slightly upward. Then gently lean forward from your hips. Again, you should feel a mild stretch behind the lower leg. Nothing painful, nothing forced. A 72-year-old man from Florida named Robert told me this seated version became part of his nightly routine while watching television. After about 2 weeks, he noticed his legs felt less stiff when getting out of bed in the morning. So why can this help? When the calf muscles stay tight for long periods, movement and flexibility can feel restricted. Gentle stretching helps those muscles relax and lengthen gradually. And here's what surprised researchers. A study published in the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy found that older adults who performed gentle calf stretching several times per week improved ankle flexibility and walking comfort in as little as 4 weeks. That is why consistency matters more than intensity. Try repeating this stretch 2 or 3 times on each side, slowly, calmly, without forcing the movement. And in the next part, I want to show you a few common mistakes that may actually make leg tightness worse without people realizing it. Now, before you try this stretch tonight, there are a few very common mistakes I want you to avoid, because sometimes people accidentally make tight muscles even tighter. The first mistake is pushing too hard. Many older adults think, if I stretch deeper, I'll get faster results. But the body does not work that way. A stretch should feel gentle, comfortable, never sharp or painful. If your face tightens while stretching, you are probably going too far. The second mistake is bouncing. Have you ever seen people move up and down quickly while stretching? That sudden motion can irritate tight muscles instead of helping them relax. Slow and steady works much better. The third mistake is holding your breath. This surprises many people. When we tense up and stop breathing normally, the muscles often stay guarded and tight. So while stretching, keep your shoulders relaxed and breathe slowly. And finally, many people simply do not hold the stretch long enough. 10 seconds is usually not enough time for the muscle to fully relax. Give your body at least 20 to 30 seconds. A 68-year-old woman from Ohio named Linda told me she used to rush through stretches in less than 5 seconds. Once she slowed down and relaxed her breathing, she noticed her legs felt looser within days. So let me ask you, which mistake do you think you've been making most often? In the next part, I'll show you the best time of day to do this stretch if you want the biggest relief for tight, stiff legs. Now you may be wondering, when should you actually do this stretch for the best results? For most older adults, the best time is in the evening, especially before bed or after sitting for a long period of time. Why? Because that is usually when the muscles have been stiff for hours. Think about it. After dinner, after watching television, or after a long car ride, your legs often feel tighter and heavier than they did earlier in the day. That is the perfect moment to gently loosen those muscles. You can also do this stretch after a short walk. Many people notice the muscles feel warmer and easier to stretch afterward. And here's something interesting researchers discovered. A study published in the International Journal of Sports Physical Therapy found that just 5 minutes of consistent stretching helped improve flexibility and muscle comfort over time, especially in older adults with reduced mobility. Not 1 hour, not an intense workout, just a few calm minutes done consistently. A 70-year-old woman from Nevada named Carol told me she started doing this stretch every night before brushing her teeth. Within 2 weeks, she noticed her legs felt less tight at bedtime. So let me ask you, when do your legs usually feel the stiffest, morning or evening? Because in the next part, I want to show you the subtle changes many people begin noticing after doing this regularly. Now let's talk about what many people begin noticing after doing this stretch consistently for a few days. Not dramatic overnight changes, but small improvements that can make everyday movement feel easier and more comfortable. Many older adults first notice that tight feeling in the calves starts easing a little. Then walking may begin to feel smoother. Standing up from a chair may feel less stiff. And by the evening, the legs often feel less heavy and tense. Have you ever noticed how even a small amount of stiffness can change your whole day? Sometimes it is not severe pain that frustrates people the most. It is that constant, tight, restricted feeling that makes simple movement feel tiring. A 73-year-old woman from Michigan named Susan told me she realized something had changed when she got out of bed one morning, and her first few steps no longer felt as stiff as before. And here is what researchers found. A study published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity reported that regular flexibility exercises improved lower body mobility and walking comfort in older adults after several weeks of consistent practice. The key word is consistent. Not perfect, not intense, consistent, because the body often responds best to small movements repeated calmly over time. So if you try this stretch tonight, pay attention to how your legs feel afterward. Do they feel lighter, looser, more relaxed? And in the next part, I want to share something important. Why simple movements often work better than exhausting workouts for adults over 60. Before we finish, I want you to remember something important. You do not need exhausting workouts to help your body feel better after 60. In fact, many older adults stop exercising completely because they believe movement has to be intense to be effective. But that belief is often what keeps people stuck. The body usually responds better to gentle movements done consistently than to hard workouts done once in a while. Just a few calm minutes each day can begin helping the muscles stay more flexible and relaxed over time. And here's something encouraging. Researchers from Centers for Disease Control and Prevention explain that regular light movement and stretching may help older adults maintain mobility, flexibility, and daily function as they age. Not perfection, not intensity, consistency. A 74-year-old man from North Carolina named James once told me he stopped trying to exercise hard years ago because it left him exhausted. But when he began simple nightly stretching for just a few minutes, he noticed his legs felt less stiff getting out of his recliner each evening. Sometimes the smallest habits create the biggest changes. So let me ask you something. What if your body is not asking for harder movement, but simply more consistent movement? And tonight, before bed, try this stretch one more time and notice how your legs feel afterward. Because in just a moment, I want to leave you with one final question that may help more people discover this simple habit too. Today, you learned something very simple, but very important. Tight, stiff legs are not always a sign that your body is failing. Sometimes the muscles simply need gentle movement again. With one simple calf stretch, done slowly and consistently, many older adults notice their legs feel looser, lighter, and more comfortable by the end of the day, not because they exercised harder, but because they moved more gently and more regularly. And remember, you do not need to do this perfectly. Even 5 calm minutes before bed can become a small habit that helps your body feel better over time. A 71-year-old woman from Oregon named Patricia told me she almost skipped this stretch because she thought it looked too simple to matter. 2 weeks later, it became part of her nightly routine. Of course, if you have severe pain, swelling, numbness, or symptoms that continue getting worse, it is important to speak with a healthcare professional. This video is for general education and gentle wellness support. So tonight, try this stretch and pay attention to how your legs feel afterward. And before you go, comment your age and where you're watching from. I'd also love to know, do your legs feel tighter in the morning or more at night?